This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Let's face it, money is the one subject we all need to deal with, but no one actually wants to talk about. The good news is there's a podcast helping you learn everything about money no one taught you. Meet Everyone's Talkin' Money, hosted by me, Shauna Game. Everyone's Talkin' Money focuses on relevant, inclusive, and forward-thinking conversations around money and just helps you get in a better relationship with your money no matter what your goals are. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to Everyone's Talkin' Money podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you want to know what it's like to hang out with MS-13 in El Salvador? Or how the Russian mafia fought battles all over Brooklyn in the 1990s?
What about that time I got lost in the Burmese jungle hunting the world's biggest meth lab? I'm Sean Williams.
And I'm Danny Gold. And we're the hosts of the Underworld podcast. We're journalists that have traveled all over, reporting on dangerous people and places. And every week, we'll be bringing you a new story about organized crime from all over the world.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Feeling all right because I'm sitting here with the smoothest butted man in the world, and that is Alex John. Alex, welcome to episode number 227 of Tennis Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
For those new here, Tennis Podcast is a weekly comedy podcast where we cover a new top tennis list every week. Each top tennis list is prepared by one host along with fun facts and trivia, and the other tries to guess the items on the list with no prior chance to prepare.
Wait, this is a comedy? I thought this was a horror podcast.
Very nice. It can be both.
Right.
But it's not. It's just horror. Alex, what's the last thing you ate today?
Last thing I ate was a barbecue chicken thigh.
Oh, God damn it, Alex. Why you gotta do that to me? You're supposed to say something boring and bland.
With some baked beans?
No. Some spinach and like some, like a really bland piece of grilled chicken with no seasoning on it. That's what you ate, right?
How about your ass?
Oh, I'd like that. Alex Johns, you're back. You brought a list. What'd you bring us?
I brought a list.
Sure hope so.
You were just jumping right into it. No shenanigans, no funny business.
So, talking about your smooth ass and critiquing your dinner, that's not enough small talk for you? You need more? All right, Alex. What's your take on the situation in the Ukraine?
I could go on and on about that, actually. Do we have time?
No, we don't have time.
All right, fair enough.
We sure don't.
All right, well, let's hear this list. Nick.
Alex.
You travel.
Sure.
I travel. We both travel.
Sure.
For work, pretty frequently. What would you say is your main method for getting to the places that you travel to?
An airplane.
An airplane, right. Same here. So I have before me a list of the top 10 airlines in North America by total annual passengers.
Top 10 airlines in North America.
So that does include Canada and Mexico.
Oh, well then I'm out. Nope, I'm out. Sorry. Can't do it.
Specifically, this data set comes from 2019, just because 2020 with COVID, like things got a little wonky and they've kind of been wonky since then. But if you kind of look every year, the rankings are pretty much the same. It's just the number of passengers varies.
And is this ranked by like annual average or?
Total passengers in 2019.
Oh, okay. Total passengers in 2019. All right. Well, this will be fun because I love to rant and rave and bitch about airlines. So let's do it.
You love to rant and rave and bitch about everything.
Well, that's true.
So I figured, hey, why not airlines?
I have nothing bad to say about your bum, but other than that, yeah, pretty much everything's up for grabs. Alex, I hate flying. You fly more than me.
I do.
What's your take on flying? Like, do you mind it? You hate it? You're just used to it at this point?
I'm just used to it at this point. At first, it was kind of a novelty, right? Like, ooh, I'm flying. Yeah. Now it's just like, I don't know, it's a job.
I don't mind the actual flying part. Like, I don't get scared to fly or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate, like, all the processes you got to do. Like, you got to wait in the bullshit line.
Yep.
I have TSA pre-check, but even then, you still got to wait sometimes, depending on the airport.
Dude, sometimes TSA pre-check is, like, even longer than the regular line
I've noticed that, too, because secret's out, I feel like.
Yeah.
Once you get through security, you got to find your gate. The gate changes. Once you get to the gate, you got to wait forever. Mm-hmm. You got to stand in line to get on the plane. Once you stand in line, you got to slowly stand in line waiting to get to your seat because the aisles on the plane. And then once you get on, then you got to sit there. And sometimes you'll sit on the runway for an hour with no word from anyone on why.
Right.
And then once you finally get into the air and you'll land, you got a taxi for a half hour. So just all that shit adds up to really grind my gears, Alex.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
So, Alex, these are 10 airlines in North America. Man, I don't know if I could even name 10 airlines.
You've heard of at least 9 of these.
Okay.
I guarantee. Well, probably at least 8. I've heard of 9. One of them was kind of new for me.
All right.
Don't tell me your airline of choice just yet. Wait until we get to that part of the list.
Okay.
And I'll do the same.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Top 10 airlines.
Let's fly right into it. So I'm going to try to save number 1.
Okay.
I'm going to say that Southwest Airlines is somewhere around number 4 or 5.
Southwest Airlines, surprisingly, is number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are up there.
I hate Southwest.
So Southwest Airline, yeah, same. Yeah, don't worry, we're going to get into that. So Southwest Airline in 2019 served 162.6 million passengers.
Jesus Christ. Just in North America.
It has a fleet of 737 planes, which I fucking love that because all of their planes are Boeing 737s.
Mm-hmm.
So clever.
They had to do that on purpose, right?
They had to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I got notes on all of these planes, but quite a few on Southwest. So it was founded in 1966. At the time, it only served Texas. It flew between Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio, just basically a triangle around Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It began its interstate service in 1979 and then expanded nationwide in the following decades. The headquarters is at Dallas Love Field. It's unique that it uses a point-to-point model and doesn't have traditional hubs. So most of these other airlines on this list, they have specific hub airports where basically all flights go in and out of those hubs. So if you're not traveling to a hub, you're going to be able to get there, but you're going to have to connect through one of those hubs.
Atlanta is a hub, Phoenix. Those are
Atlanta,
like big hubs,
and we'll get into hubs on some of these other lists, but yeah, Southwest doesn't have traditional hubs. Now they have crew bases, which are kind of like airports that have a bigger presence for Southwest. For example, if you're going from like Kansas City to Dallas on like American Airlines or something like that, that plane's going to go back and forth between those two, and that's all it does. Whereas Southwest is going to kind of go like, I start in LA, I'm going to go to Denver, then I'm going to go to Kansas City, then I'm going to go down to Dallas. You know, it's kind of skirt around.
Maybe that's why they're fucking late all the time. But anyway.
Well, I was just going to get to that because I have sort of the benefits and the drawbacks. So benefits, obviously, is it eliminates the need for connections most of the time, right? If I'm in Kansas City, which is not a hub airport, and I'm trying to get to St. Louis, which is also not a hub airport for anything, none of the major airlines will make that connection, but Southwest does, just because it's part of their little, transactionary route. So that's a big benefit. However, downside is it's very difficult to isolate weather or other problems to a specific part of the country. So like, for example, in a major airline, say if like Atlanta is having big storms and like all flights are shut down, that's just centralized to the Atlanta airport. So like if you're, I forget who has a hub there in Atlanta, but like if you're an airline that has a hub there, Delta, but you're flying over in like Seattle, you're not going to be affected. Whereas Southwest, the whole country is interconnected because you got these flights going in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Pros and cons, but it's a unique system that is not used very often here.
That's interesting that they do it that way. I mean, they must have their reasons, but I won't jump ahead. I want to get to the seating arrangements, but you're probably going to get there.
Yeah. And Southwest is considered a low-cost airlines too, right? So that's one of the ways they do it. Another way is that their fleet is very uniform. They only operate Boeing 737s, which means that every pilot can fly every plane, every flight attendant can fly every plane.
And every plane is the same for every passenger.
Same plane, so the spare parts are the same. There's not a huge maintenance cost. You can kind of service it anywhere, whereas some of your major airlines, they have specific hubs where they service specific planes, right? Just a lot more uniformity there. Another one with Southwest is they don't have a first class, right? They don't have any sort of upgraded seating. Every seat's the same, for better or for worse.
I hate it.
I fucking hate that.
I hate it.
I hate it.
There is nothing, I'm only exaggerating a little when I say this. There is nothing worse in the world, at least for me. I mean, maybe if you're like a small woman or something, it doesn't affect you. But for most average sized people, that middle seat is hell. Especially if you have a long flight. I hate the middle seat. I'd rather kiss Dr. Buster than sit in the middle seat. When you're on Southwest, it's always a risk. Always a risk of getting that middle seat, even when you do the early, because you can pay to get an early bird check-in, which means you board sooner. You still don't have a guaranteed seat, but you board sooner. Even then, I mean, better chance of getting a good seat, but not guaranteed. Whereas Delta, American, all the other airlines, I like to just pick my seat and forget about it. I don't want to think about it again. I don't know. I like being able to upgrade sometimes.
Yeah. So I have Southwest A-list. I get automatically checked in 36 hours in advance rather than the 24.
Everybody. Damn.
So I never really have to worry about middle seats. But I always have the anxiety of like, who is going to get the middle seat and who am I going to get stuck sitting by?
Uh-huh.
I feel like the whole time, like I'll scoot in there first, I'll get my middle seat, and I'm just sitting there waiting. You know, and you see a very small, petite person, you're like, oh fuck, I hope they pick my seat. And then you see like a 6'5" broad-shouldered dude, and you're just like, please keep walking, please keep walking.
It's always him too. But that's the thing.
It's always him.
I mean, I will try not to go off because I've gone off before on this show, but the way they build these airplanes is so fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Because even a normal sized person, not fat, not broad, not huge, just a normal sized person, it is really hard to be comfortable on an airplane. And it's also hard to not invade everyone's personal space around you.
Right.
There's no room to walk. Like, there's room for one person in the aisleway at a time. And even someone that's just barely above average size is going to bump every elbow on the way. It's a whole shitty system, and I hate that they're getting smaller. And I've heard about these airplane manufacturers are pitching to make the planes even tighter to get more seats in there, which just, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that, but it's hell.
It's capitalism. It's trying to extract more dollars out of... Anyway, we don't need to get into a capitalism rant.
We sure don't.
But a few more notes on Southwest. So one thing that... A lot of things I dislike, but one thing I really dislike about Southwest is they actively lobby against high-speed rail initiatives.
Fuck them.
Because they see it as a competitor to their short-distance flights. So, fuck it.
I'm sure all the airlines do this, but, I mean, maybe you'll tell me differently, but I assume, like, all the major airlines are lobbying against that shit, but, man...
Southwest is the only one where it was called out. Okay. I think specifically because Southwest kind of owns, like, the short-distance market, whereas the other airlines, they get their bread and butter off of like going to Europe and going, overseas type of flights.
International.
So international, that's the word.
Yep, that is a word.
So
Southwest can suck it.
I will say though, in terms of accidents, I do have data on key accidents on all these airlines, which is going to be fun to talk about.
Okay.
Only 9 incidents ever with 4 deaths.
Oh.
Which is actually really low for such a large aircraft. It's actually considered among the safest airlines in the world.
And they've been around since, I think you said 59, right?
66.
66? So that's, whatever, 60
Which
years
is
almost.
About middle ground. I mean, there's a few that are older, a few that are younger. But generally, that's a very safe airline. And then I did want to touch on the December 2022 scheduling crisis. You remember this?
I do.
Thousands of flight cancellations through the Christmas holidays sparked by bad weather and made worse by inadequate staffing and an outdated crew scheduling system. Apparently, they're using essentially MS-DOS type of scheduling bullshit. Pilots were on hold for hours just waiting for their work assignments. You had passengers who couldn't get where they're ever going to go.
Yeah.
Pilots didn't know what they were going to fly. It was just chaos.
Did that just kind of work itself out over time? I mean, they didn't
It worked itself out over time. It sparked a lot of conversation of Southwest needs to upgrade their shit. I guess their internal IT team has been really pushing for, we need to upgrade this. And it's been one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Well, it finally broke. So, so that's everything I have on Southwest.
Yeah, not my favorite airline. I mean, you mentioned some pros there, and they're also, at least in this part of the country where I live, I mean, they're usually the cheapest, I'll say, but not so much cheaper that I think it's worth it for me.
I will say, since moving to St. Louis, I have been flying Southwest quite a bit more, just because they have a pretty large presence here at our airport, unfortunately. Larger than any of the major airlines.
Can you get off Southwest, Dick, for even a minute so we can continue the show? I mean, fuck. Well, let me give you another guess. So if Southwest is 3, I am pretty confident in number 1 and 2. So I'm going to go to 4 as United Airlines.
You have a top 10 list for a reason. Number 4 is United Airlines.
Knew it.
United Airlines just barely. So remember, Southwest had 16.6 million flyers. United had 16.4 million. Okay. So they were just under Southwest. However, they have the second largest fleet in North America at 1,391 planes.
1,391 planes. Okay, so that's
1,500
more than Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest was the 4th most fleet at their 737.
I fly United quite a bit.
Is that your kind of main? Do you have any status with them?
I mean, I'm a part of their membership. I'm on all the membership programs. I'm a believer in, if you do something more than once, air travel or otherwise, sign up for the membership program because it's free money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't prefer United. I'm kind of neutral on them, but they usually end up having like the best flight times for me.
Yeah.
Like scheduling wise.
I have silver status on United.
Man, you got all kinds of humble brags tonight, don't you, Alex? Anything else?
Oh, this is just the beginning. Don't you worry.
All right, great.
We'll get to the rest. Anyway, United Airlines, very old airline, founded in 1926.
Holy shit.
In Boise, Idaho, by aviation pioneer William Boeing. So the inventor of the Boeing airplane. Currently today, it's headquartered in Willis Tower in Chicago, however. United, fun fact about United, they claim to have the first ever flight attendant when they hired nurse Ellen Church, listener of the show, in 1930 to assist passengers. So in like the 1920s and 30s, there's a lot of like fear of flying, basically. It's something new, right?
And it was also like a giant tin can in the air that like barely qualified as an airplane by today's standards. But yes, go ahead.
So yeah, this woman, she was actually a pilot herself, but obviously they wouldn't let her fly it because she's a woman in 1930.
Of course.
And so she proposed that hiring nurses would ease passenger tensions or whatever. And it worked. They hired her as a flight attendant.
This was 1930 something, right? When they did that. So, I mean, commercial airplane industry was pretty young.
Yes.
But even then, before airline attendants, that means you just had the pilots, basically, right? And you got on the plane and then sat there kind of like riding a bus or a taxi, right? It's just
pretty much.
It's weird to think about.
Yeah.
Do you have in front of you somewhere like when the first commercial flight took place? Because the Wright brothers didn't even invent the airplane until 1900 something.
Yeah, no, I don't have that information.
I'll look it up while you can keep going, but I'll look it up.
So United has had many acquisitions. You'll see with some of these top airlines, they are loaded with acquisitions. In 1961, they merged with Capital Airlines. In 1985, they acquired Pan Am's entire Pacific division when Pan Am was kind of going under. In 2000, they tried to acquire U.S. Airlines, but withdrew before the Department of Justice barred it on antitrust grounds, which I feel like they should do a lot more fucking often.
Yeah.
And then in 2010, the biggest one, they merged with Continental. What's interesting about that is they kept the United name, but they adopted the Continental logo. So like that little globe thing you see on United, that was Continental's old logo.
That's a strange choice.
Yeah.
It's interesting that any of these airlines struggle financially. I mean, I know that happens in any business, but just because flying is expensive and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
You know, oftentimes when they do struggle, they cite like fuel costs and like other things that are like out of their control or whatever.
Not CEO bonuses or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. But United, not sure if you know about the code share alliances.
No.
But there's all these different little alliances that various airlines worldwide join to like basically share their codes. So like United is part of the Star Alliance.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Any airline that is part of the Star Alliance, essentially you can book other airlines as if it's booking on your own airline with this. So I've used it in the past. We'll get to it when we get to my airline of choice.
American.
But pretty nice perk.
Spoiler
but yeah. United has a frequent flyer program called Mileage Plus, and their airline lounges are called United Clubs. I have an active membership now. Spoilers alert.
Man, these humble brags are just getting a bit much. By the way, I looked it up. The first commercial airline flight was in 1914, January 1st, actually, from St. Petersburg to Tampa.
Damn. What, do they have like two people in the back just holding on for dear life?
It does not say, but I would bet. I want to know who the first volunteer to do that is. Although I guess there's volunteers to go to space and shit. So, and to go and to see the fucking Titanic
and
in a
fucking
submarine.
Billionaires to go pay $250 to die in the bottom of the ocean.
Did you say $250? Is more than that.
$250,000.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
To get compressed into a fucking soda can.
Can you imagine? Put yourself in 1914, Alex. Like, the automobile is still new. The train system is like, I don't know, less than 100 years old. And
you got people shitting in the streets?
You got people shitting in the streets, taking baths in the shit rivers, and then someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, Alex, I just invented this thing that's rickety as hell.
It'll fly through the fucking air.
And it'll fly across the state. You want to get in? You want to pay a bunch of money to do it? I mean, I just can't imagine. But someone had to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, listener. Nick here. I am so excited about our next sponsor because it's been a real game changer for me this year. It's HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. I have tried other meal kit services, but HelloFresh has been my favorite by far. I wish I had tried it even sooner. Summer is the perfect time to try HelloFresh. From chef-crafted seasonal recipes to their new Fresh and Fit summer menu, HelloFresh brings flavor right to your door. If you're like me, after a long day, the last thing I want to do is cook. So me and my family got in the habit of ordering takeout food way more than we should. But like I said at the start, HelloFresh has been a game changer for us. When you need dinner fast, don't call for delivery. Just think HelloFresh. Their fast and fresh recipes are ready in just 15 minutes or less. Plus, HelloFresh is 25% cheaper than takeout. Don't be like me and put off trying something as good as this for too long. It's time to try HelloFresh for yourself. And the best part is, HelloFresh has a special offer just for cute little 10ish podcast listeners like you. Go to HelloFresh.com/10ish50 and use code 10ish50 for 50% off plus free shipping. What? That's HelloFresh.com/10ish50 or just click the link in the show notes. And don't forget to use the code 10ish50 for 50% off plus free shipping. Listener, are you ready to live your best life? I got you, fam. If you've listened to 10ish Podcast for a while, you know that I am a big fan of AG1. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers comprehensive nutrients for whole body health. AG1 is great bang for my buck and my butt, as it replaces a lot of other supplements like daily multivitamin, minerals, pre- and probiotics for my gut health, adaptogens, and a greens blend, literally all in just one scoop of powder. Did I mention it's delicious too? I take it every morning and it has completely changed the way I feel and operate every single day. Just one daily serving supports energy, focus, strength, and clarity with 75 high-quality vitamins, probiotics, and whole food sourced ingredients. Seriously, I cannot think of another daily routine that pays off as well as AG1, which is why I trust the product so much and use it every day. Now I need you to feel the way I feel. If you're looking for a simpler, effective investment for your health, try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/10ish. That's drinkag1.com/10ish. Check it out. Link is also in the show notes.
Anyway, back to United. So they do have the hub model. They have 8 hubs in America. Chicago O'Hare is one of their biggest ones. They've got Denver. They have a hub in Guam, funnily enough, that handles a lot of the Pacific traffic. Houston Intercontinental. LAX. You'll find that LAX has a hub for like every fucking
Pretty
airline.
much all of them. Yep.
Newark, San Francisco, and Washington Dulles are the hubs for United.
Dulles. What's the? Reagan's the better airport.
Reagan's the other one. Yeah. Of course, they name after the worst fucking president in history.
At least you can't help yourself, can you?
I can't fucking help myself today.
Just wait till the Trump airport.
God damn. United has, on average, the oldest fleet of all major U.S. airlines. So just their average age of their planes is old. I don't know. That just seemed interesting.
Cool. Makes me feel good.
Cool. And then in terms of incidents, I don't have a whole lot of data on like how many passengers died and there have been a ton of accidents and incidents United, but I do have 2 sort of fun, interesting stories that I'll talk about. One everyone's probably heard of. It happened very recently. And the other, which I'll start with, was what they call the worst ever case of air rage. This happened in 1995 on flight 976. Gerard Finneran, a Wall Street investment banker, became disruptive prior to takeoff after consuming 2 glasses of champagne. He began threatening crew members and attempted to pour his own drinks. Can't do that. So this all happened before takeoff. They're trying to load passengers. He's just tossing back champagne, being unruly. After takeoff, they served him 2 more glasses of red wine.
Big mistake.
Yep. After which, the crew cut him off. Obviously, he's too drunk. When his request for more alcohol was denied, he pushed over the flight attendant, climbed onto the service trolley, took off his pants, and shit all over himself. He used the linen napkins as toilet paper and wiping his hands on various service counters and tracked shit up and down the aircraft.
So the plane's in the air at this point, right?
Plane is in the air traveling. There's a fucking dignitary, the president of fucking like El Salvador or something is sitting in first class. There's a dignitary to fucking like Portugal or something on the plane. Like he's tracking shit all the way up and down.
This is insane. That's the other thing about airplanes, man, and flight attendants. Man, I feel bad for flight attendants for a lot of reasons, but including the reason that when shit like this goes down or you have a fight online or someone's dying online, guess what? You're in the fucking air and there's not a lot you can do. There's not a lot of room to maneuver. And people are still ringing, like this guy's shitting in the airplane, like you're saying, and someone's still in the back pressing the service light for like another drink or something. But
oh man,
they have the worst job.
So he after this he locked himself in the bathroom. Upon landing, he was arrested by the FBI.
Yes.
While his attorney said he was suffering from a severe case of traveler's diarrhea. Tell me, Nick, you ever had a severe case of traveler's diarrhea?
I think I might have, yes, but not like this.
And he claims he had been prevented from using the first class bathroom, and that's why he was so enraged.
No.
So ultimately, he was fined $5,000 and had to reimburse United $48,000 for the cleanup costs.
$8,000.
And the other passengers' airfare that had been refunded. And apparently, after all this happened, flight attendants were fucking like, obviously they canceled food service because there's shit everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they like were spraying perfume across the plane just to like make sure.
That was actually probably worse to breathe in than the shit was, honestly.
Probably. But yeah, this was United Flight 976, if anyone wants to go look up this incident. Fucking hilarious.
Before you move on, I got to look up the inflation on that. $48,000, right, in 1995?
Plus $5,000 for the fine, so 53 total.
That is almost $106,000 in today's money that he had to pay. Damn.
I
mean, I guess it's better than going to prison.
This guy was a fucking Wall Street banker, like very highly educated. Just can't handle his alcohol.
No, or shit.
Yeah.
We always talk about shitting in the streets. This guy was shitting on a plane. So
shitting on the plane.
That's the next Samuel L. Jackson movie. I'm tired of all this motherfucking shit.
Oh, that was a good one.
On this motherfucking plane.
So this other story, I'm sure you've heard of. It happened in, 2017, 2018, something like that. The overall story here, the joke is United is punching out its passengers, right?
That's right.
So
yep.
What happened here was United needed 4 seats from an overbooked flight. So essentially, they overbooked the flight. Everyone had seated. They need 4 of the passengers to get up to give those seats to someone else, which I never got that. I'm like,
why overbook
if you overbooked it? I get overbooking. Like there's a certain amount of threshold of people that aren't going to show up, and you make the risk that someone's not going to show up, and if you're not, I get it, and we'll kind of get into that here a bit. But like, what I don't get is like everyone's already seated, nobody wants to get up, so like why not just the people that aren't seated just tell them, oh sorry, you'll have to get rebooked somewhere else? Because essentially what they did was they offered everyone like, hey, we'll give you $100 if you get off the plane, we'll rebook you for free or something like that. And they kept doing that all the way up to $800. Nobody wanted to get up.
Oh, my God.
And so they randomly selected 4 passengers to leave. 3 of them left, took the $800, they left, they got rebooked.
That's a good deal.
The 4th one, Dr. David Dow, refused because he said he had patients he needed to treat the following morning, and he absolutely had to take this flight, which, okay, I get it. At that point, he was forcibly pulled from his seat and dragged down the aisle by his arms, suffering concussion, broken teeth, and a broken nose.
I forgot. A concussion?
Yeah, he got fucked. The event was captured on video. It was kind of one of the first like airplane viral airplane things captured on video. Now those are happening all the time. It triggered an angry backlash, while the CEO described this doctor as disruptive and belligerent and praised the staff for following established protocols. After all of this fucking anger.
Protocols is to fucking concuss your passengers as you drag them from the seat they paid for and sat in already. Weird.
Fucking wild.
It's a weird stance to take, fam.
This doctor, Dr. Dow, he sued United for an undisclosed settlement. The CEO was then fired. Following this incident, passenger complaints increased by 70%.
Oh, yeah.
United was not too popular there for a bit.
Yeah. It's crazy that they can even come back from that, really. But they have. I mean, they're the 4th biggest airline still in 2019. 2019, that's 2 years after the year that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wild story. And this guy was a senior citizen, right? Was he older?
Yeah, Older doctor, probably looked like he was 50s or so.
And Alex, that's what we should start doing to our listeners. When they won't keep listening, we'll just go to their house, concuss them, break their jaw, what else did they do? Break their finger and their teeth.
Yep.
Apparently that works for some businesses.
Then I'll praise you for a job well done.
Thank you. And then I'll get sued and lose my job. And then who knows who will step in to host the show. I know who it won't be. He who shall not be named.
Right. So you got number 3 and number 4. I think you know what number 1 and number 2 are. I'm not sure if you know the order. I'd save those and try to guess some of the lower.
So I've never flown this airline because they don't have service here where I live in Oklahoma. And that is JetBlue. I'm going to guess is 5 or 6 or 7.
JetBlue is number 7.
Knew it.
JetBlue has had 42.7 million passengers in 2019. So quite a bit lower than the 2 that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Its fleet is only 270 airplanes, 8th biggest fleet in the North America. I have flown JetBlue once. JetBlue was founded very recently in 1998.
Oh,
so
damn.
One of the most recent airlines on this list.
Yeah.
JetBlue was inspired by the Southwest model as a low-cost airline, but it sought to distinguish itself with amenities such as a TV in every seat, Sirius XM satellite radio, lots of other, fun amenities there on the plane.
Blowjob by a sultry person at every seat as well? Yep.
Yeah. Similar to the Southwest model, where they all have the same airplane, JetBlue has a fleet of all Airbus model planes.
Okay.
Also similar to Southwest, they don't have a first class. It's just the same. You're all the same seats. Now you do pick your seat beforehand, so it's not open seating, but it's just one long row of seats.
That's an improvement.
Yeah, it's an improvement. Like I said, JetBlue, I honestly, it's not bad. The plane was pretty small, smaller than most planes I've been on. It does have a frequent flyer program. It's called True Blue. There were not any fun accident stuff to pull.
No fun accidents, okay. Are there any unfun accidents?
Yes, there are some fun incidents that I found.
Okay.
For example, in 2022, an altercation took place on a flight between boxer Mike Tyson and another passenger, resulting in Tyson punching out the other passenger. Now, I watched the video on this just a few hours ago, actually.
I've seen this, actually.
And you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, the passenger was just like fucking with him and just like, Mike Tyson signed this, Mike Tyson signed this. And Mike Tyson got pissed and he turned around and fucking punched the guy.
Did Mike Tyson get in trouble for that? He probably paid a fine or some shit.
Yeah, I'm sure he paid.
I don't know if this is going to make me sound like an asshole, but if I'm Mike Tyson, I'm not flying on an airline that doesn't have first class to separate myself from, shit like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Can you imagine getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson? It's got to be like one of the worst things that can happen to you.
Dude had fucking like bruises all on his face too.
Yeah, I fucking bet he did. I'd be shocked if he didn't.
Yep.
But man, can you imagine being so annoying to a celebrity that celebrity is going to risk it all to punch you in the face as hard as he can in front of a huge amount of people? That takes a lot.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Last point on JetBlue. In 2022, they reached an agreement to purchase Spirit Airlines for $3.8 billion. However, the U.S. Justice Department seeks to block the deal and filed a lawsuit in March of 2023, and we'll see how it goes.
They'll get it through.
Yeah.
Spirit is one of those little shitty airlines that like has, fewer flights.
Mm-hmm.
Allegiant is another one, Frontier. So let me guess some of these. So let's do Spirit. Is Spirit in the top 10?
Spirit Airlines is number 8 on the list.
Knew it.
Spirit had 34.5 million passengers in 2019. Very small fleet of 157 planes, so actually 10th on the list for fleet size. Spirit was founded in 1964 as a trucking company and didn't begin its airline service until 1983, where it was based out of Macomb County, Michigan. In 1999, it relocated its headquarters to Miramar, Florida. Now, Spirit, similar to Southwest and JetBlue, it has a fleet of all Airbuses to reduce the maintenance costs. It's known as a ultra low-cost carrier, which is able to keep its base ticket prices down by charging extra for amenities that are included in the base price of traditional airline tickets. You ever flown Spirit?
I don't know if I've done Spirit, but I've done its competitors like Frontier and Allegiant, which same thing. So on a normal, like large airline, like the other ones we've talked about, you'll get your free drink, you'll get your free pretzels or whatever on the flight. Southwest will have first bags checked free.
Yep.
Yeah, I might be forgetting some other stuff, but yeah, they
So
do that.
it's worse than that. And I think Spirit is the worst of the ultra low cost. You pay extra for even selecting a seat. Like if you want to pick
That's
where
right.
you're sitting,
Yeah.
you pay extra. You pay extra if you want to print your boarding pass. You pay extra for any check bag, and you pay extra for a fucking carry-on.
Oh, the carry-ons
can bring
cost
a-
extra. Yeah.
You can bring a little personal item for free, but if you bring a backpack, well, you got to pay. Fucking stupid. You got higher fees for overweight bags. Your snacks cost money. Your drinks
I thought
cost
you were gonna say
money.
overweight people for a second, but
Yeah, it was actually the first airline ever to charge for carry-on bags. They fucking got away with it. But this has all caused them to get fined a few times for deceptive advertising when advertising their low cost.
and I got to tell you that when I fly these ultra low cost airlines, at least 50% of the time my flight gets canceled, and like they'll tell me to come back.
Yeah, it's awful.
Because then they only fly to that location like a few times a week. So if it gets canceled, that means you're not. It's not like another airline where you just wait an hour or two. It's like you're coming back a different day.
And their customer service is awful.
Yeah.
One more fact on Spirit. So I got some more details of that acquisition they went through in 2022. So in 2022, Spirit announced its intention to be acquired by Frontier Airlines, actually,
Oh, okay.
pending regulatory approval, making Frontier the 5th largest airline in the United States. However, this deal was rejected by Spirit's shareholders. So later that year, JetBlue then jumped in and proposed to acquire Spirit for $3.6 billion. Spirit's board of directors decided not to consider this proposal, so then JetBlue expressed its intention to execute a hostile takeover.
Oh my God. This is Succession.
Yeah, apparently this never happened. So a month later, they came to an agreement at $3.8 billion, which is what it ended up being. However, now the Justice Department is like working on suing them. They did a formal lawsuit in March of 2013 or 2023, and still waiting on details as to if they're going to block the acquisition.
Why would they block this when they allow Amazon to buy like everything under the sun? I don't know. Like
Right.
maybe because Amazon's buying
Yeah.
stuff that's not direct competition, whereas Spirit and Frontier are, you know. Well, that's my
Maybe,
next guess
yeah,
though, is
so-
Frontier. I'm going to say Frontier is. I would have thought Frontier's smaller than Spirit, but given what you said a minute ago, I guess I'll guess Frontier's number 6.
No, you were right. Frontier is smaller
Oh, okay.
at number 10.
All
Just
right.
barely cracks the top 10.
Knew it. So the smaller company was going to acquire the bigger company.
Was going to acquire the bigger company, yeah. But one last note on Spirit before I jump to Frontier. There have been no deaths or even injuries ever reported on a Spirit flight.
Well, how new's the airline?
It started flights in 1983.
That's good, but I don't know. Just give it time. Like, I think you said United had the most. Well, fuck yeah, they were started in 1926. Of course they have the most.
Yeah.
Um,
Frontier, same thing. No recorded deaths ever on a Frontier flight.
yet.
Yet. It's coming, everyone.
How many passengers on Frontier?
Frontier, 21.8 million passengers. Fleet of 125 airplanes.
Okay.
Frontier was founded in Denver in 1994, where the headquarters remains today. Was founded as a competition to Southwest, who was not servicing Denver yet at the time. Now they've got a very large
I was
presence
going
in
to
Denver.
say, when
but-
I think of Southwest, Denver is one of the first places I think of.
Mhm.
hmm
Yeah, but back in the 90s, yeah, it was Frontier's game.
It's a better time in the 90s.
Currently, it is a all Airbus fleet, similar to JetBlue and all those. But they used to have some Boeings back in the day, but those have since been discontinued.
I used to have some Boeings back in the day too, Alex, in my fucking pants.
Boeing. It does have a frequent flyer program called Frontier Miles.
Creative.
Yeah, Frontier. It went public IPO in 2021 with the ticker symbol ULCC, standing for Ultra Low Cost Carrier.
Oh my God, that's so fucking stupid. First of all,
fucking clever.
so proud of you guys for going public. Really makes me happy. But secondly, I don't know, someone in marketing somewhere should have said, we can't have a ticker that doesn't even look like our,
Yeah,
I mean,
our fucking name.
stupid.
It's so stupid. Also in 2022, it completely eliminated its customer service phone line. You cannot call
Oh,
Frontier Airlines and talk to a person.
that's such
It
a
now
great idea
relies-
for a business. Just
It relies solely on a 24/7 online chatbot. Now there are humans that can reply to you on this chat
Allegedly.
thing, but that is your only method for seeking resolution on things.
you're talking to Chat GPT. What is it? Chat
Chat GPT.
Thank you. That's who you're talking to. But Who would have thought, like, all these businesses around the world are going to hear this podcast and be like, well, fuck, why don't we just do that? Just take away the customer service line. Then we don't have to deal with these headaches anymore. If they can't call us, then...
Yeah. I mean, that's what you should do for your Tennis podcast sidekick hosts. Just call the fucking Chat GPT.
No, well, we do have a lot of calls to our Tennis Pod customer service at 555 go fuck yourself. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it sucks for the customers, obviously, but I don't know. Like, it's a generational thing. Like, I know my dad. Like, if he has a problem with anything, he's calling a number and he's waiting on hold. Whereas me, that is the last resort.
Absolutely last resort.
I will always chat. I will always email. I'll always do whatever I have to do before I talk to a person.
I was trying to set up internet access at my new place the other day, and I like go online, fill out the form and everything. It takes me like 20 minutes to fill out everything, my address, everything, my credit card info. Finally, on the last page, it says, "We're sorry. Please call this number to complete your transaction."
Hate that.
Oh, I was so fucking mad.
Alex.
I was even like, I was kind of snarky. I hate being snarky to like service people because it's not his fucking fault.
Yeah.
But I was like snarky. I was like, oh, I spent 20 minutes doing all this and now I got to call you. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Yeah. And I'm just like,
what's he going to say?
Sorry for being a dick. Yeah. It's not your fault.
The same thing's happened to me before. But instead of calling the number, I just like burned down a small village nearby or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst. Customer service, it's a hell of a gig.
Yep.
Someone's got to do it, but glad it's not me.
Don't envy them.
All right.
So yeah, that's all I got on Frontier. I don't think I've ever flown Frontier.
Oh, you don't have status with them?
No, I have. I've flown one time with Frontier, but no, I don't have any status.
And you're not like a gold, Frontier. Platinum, like CEO status of Frontier?
No, not Frontier.
Okay.
Not this specific airline.
And how many people have died on Frontier flights?
0.
Alex?
No recorded deaths.
How do you think you would react being on a flight and the plane's going down and the pilot has passed out and the co-pilot has, I don't know, he's passed out too. And they're looking around for someone to fly this plane to land it. How many minutes got to pass by before you finally step up with no one else stepping up and saying, all right, I will try to land this plane?
I just saw a post the other day of like the majority of men, when polled, if you ask them if they think they can fly a plane with nothing more than air traffic controls talking them through it, the majority of them think they can. And I'm just like,
of course they fucking
course they can. Of fucking course they think they can.
And 98% of them, if it actually came down to it and they were
looking, fucking crash and burn.
Exactly. Or they wouldn't even get in the seat in the first place because they'd be too freaked out.
Yeah.
Do you think you could will yourself into that seat with the entire plane counting on you?
I mean, if it was a situation where like they're dead or they're passed out, nobody's getting
podcast
up,
and they're so distracted they can't fly.
I mean, maybe I would go and try to like stabilize it. I feel like you could like at least pull it to a point to where like
listen to you.
It's not nosediving, but like how do you land that thing? No fucking way.
Fucking know. Landing is like the whole thing. Like, yeah, I think anyone could. I mean, I know it's harder when everyone's freaking out and you're nervous and scared and it's your first time, but taking that aside, I think almost anyone could fly a plane once it's already in the air.
Yeah.
Landing and takeoff are the things that are really difficult and take a lot of practice. So I don't know.
So anyway, you got 10 Frontier, you got 8 Spirit, you got 7 JetBlue, 4 United, and 3 Southwest.
Let's go Allegiant at number 9.
Allegiant is number 13.
Oh, okay, wow.
Quite lower. I've never flown Allegiant.
I have. They suck. You know what's got to be in here is one I've never flown, but I hear about people flying all the time, and that's Alaska Airlines.
Alaska Airlines, number 6.
Knew it.
You surprised with how high it is?
If you'd asked me when we first started, I would have guessed like 9 or 10.
So Alaska, 46.7 million passengers, a fleet of only 329 airplanes. Pretty small fleet for their amount of passengers.
I feel like they're kind of regional.
They are pretty hyper-regional, very, very segmented to the Pacific kind of ocean area.
Which makes it all the more impressive that they're at number 6, given that.
Alaska Airlines, founded in 1932 in Anchorage, Alaska.
Really?
Yeah. Moved to Seattle during World War II, where it remains today. J.D. Power ranks Alaska Airlines as the highest customer satisfaction of all traditional airlines for 12 consecutive years.
Big whoop. The only threshold I had to pass is having a customer service line active, and that was enough.
And not a fucking chat GPT. Yeah. So Alaska, it does have the traditional hub model like the major ones. It's got 5 hubs: Anchorage, Alaska, LAX, Portland, San Francisco, and Seattle. So all up on that
the West Coast.
West Coast. big acquisition here. They didn't really do a lot of acquisitions early in their career, but in 2016, they acquired Virgin America. So Richard Branson's company, or the American branch of it.
That was going to be one of my guesses. All right. Well.
No, they're gone.
Okay.
Yeah, so acquired them.
Alex, how many Virgins have you acquired?
Alaska, part of the One World Alliance. This is why I've flown Alaska before. I book it through American. And honestly, I fucking loved it.
Okay.
But yeah, I took it and like I got upgraded to first class because they like matched my status from American.
Oh, more status. We're all really impressed and proud of you.
So anyway, I got upgraded to first class and I got a meal. And like that was probably the best first class food I've had.
Oh, really?
On a, like way better than American's first class. So I was very impressed. Great airline. Flight attendants were great. No drama.
No drama. Nobody took you out of your seat and dragged you down the aisle.
Nobody got up on the beverage cart and shit all over himself.
I can't believe that happened.
Anyway, the frequent flyer program is called the Mileage Plan. My sister is a card-carrying member of that.
Oh, whoa. Hang on. Do you think I could get your sister's autograph?
Been 11 major accidents in its long history, which does not really that much in the grand scheme of things.
You're right.
9 of which did result in deaths. There have been a total of 226 people that have been killed due to Alaska flights, which sounds scary, but compared to the others, like major players, not really that crazy. The most recent accident was a little fun. It happened in 2020, where Flight 66 hit and killed a brown bear.
Oh, no.
While landing at the Yakutuk Airport in Alaska. No passengers were injured.
The brown bear was injured. I care more about the brown bear than any fuck.
He was fucking killed.
I mean, was he landed on?
It says he was hit, so I want to say the plane was probably landed and he was just here and just... Boom.
Man, feel bad for that bear's family.
Poor bear.
Rest in peace, brown bear. Shouldn't have been fucking around on an airstrip, but hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Alaska Airlines.
That's Alaska.
Hi, human. Welcome to the God Pod. I'm God, and like Jesus, I'm hanging in there.
If you like interviews with the most interesting people alive or dead, then you'll love the God Pod.
Here's me talking to Mary Trump about her crazy uncle.
I knew he was going to be disastrous.
And here's me debating a real live atheist.
You really cannot make the case that this is a good book.
I discuss all the latest current events down on Earth.
Find the God Pod wherever you get podcasts.
The God Pod. Have it Yahweh.
This podcast is sponsored by Eucora.
UTIs are the worst. One year, I had 8 UTIs, and I hated taking antibiotics so often. If you get UTIs, you understand how awful the cycle is. I was taking all the precautions, and cranberry products just didn't work. It was hard on me and my husband.
I hated seeing her in pain, and I wanted to help.
We're Jenna and Spencer, founders of Eucora. We make UTI relief products and innovative urinary tract supplements that give you a way to be proactive. At Eucora, we've helped over 400,000 people get their lives back.
Eucora's UTI Emergency Kit helps you test for a UTI and manage your symptoms until you can see a doctor. Plus, their proactive care supplements support your urinary health from every angle. Get 30% off your first Eucora order when you text SUPPORT to 64,000. Text SUPPORT to 64,000 to get 30% off. That's SUPPORT to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Eucora. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at Eucora.com. Reply STOP to stop. Help for help.
How many I got left here that aren't 1 and 2? I need 9 and 5.
9 and 5. So I will say both of these are not American, like not from the United States. And if you want to be more specific, we've got 1 from Canada and 1 from Mexico.
I don't think I'll get the Mexico one.
No.
Canada one, I'm trying to think. Give me a hint.
It has the country of origin in its name.
Canadian Airlines?
Air Canada.
Oh, Air Canada, of course, Air Canada. That's got to be number 5.
Yeah. Air Canada is number 5.
I knew it.
At 51.5 million passengers with a fleet of 353 planes.
Good job, Canada.
Air Canada, largest airline of Canada. It was founded in 1937 as a state-owned entity in Winnipeg. So it actually was a division of the government, basically. Its only major merger was an acquisition of Canadian Airlines in the year 2000.
That means my guess was right. I said Canadian Airlines.
You did.
And they were acquired by them, so that counts.
You were about 19 years off.
It counts.
This was the first major airline in the world to use a computer reservation system. as early as 1953.
Can you imagine?
Like before computers?
Air travel before computer. First of all, I mean, I got to be careful not to go on a whole side thing here, but like just going into like a DMV or something and seeing all the records they would have had to keep before computers.
Yeah.
And then air travel before computers. What did they do?
Yeah.
They just called. I guess they just called the other airports on the phone, right? And been like,
I guess.
I don't know.
Hey, can I land here, bro?
Yeah, I mean, man. Well, you know, I guess that like the towers are probably talking to each other sooner than like the, I just don't know. But it's just weird to think about.
Yeah. Was also the first airline with a fleet-wide smoking ban in 1987. So can you imagine that?
Seems
in the
so
fucking
late.
80s, people just smoking on airplanes?
Yeah, you ever watch Mad Men?
Ugh. No.
Oh, that's what I always think of. Like they show him on airplanes all the time, and he's always smoking, like chain smoking a cigarette, and everyone around him just has to deal with it.
Gross. Yeah.
Shout out to all of our smoking listeners, though. Love you.
Yeah, just fucking unsubscribe from this show.
No. Keep subscribing. Just don't smoke in my face. Don't breathe it in my face. That's all.
Air Canada became completely privatized, boo, in 1989. And current day, the Canadian government owns 6.4%.
Oh, okay.
They probably had their own version of fucking Reagan in the 80s, just like us.
Alex, again with Reagan.
Privatized everything that was working well. And
wow.
Yeah.
How can you be against Reagan when he was such a godly man that fought the war on drugs?
Do we have time?
All right. We don't have time.
We don't have time to get into this. It has the Aeroplan frequent flyer program, which I think that's a cool name, Aeroplan.
I don't, but to each their own.
Well, you will love the airport lounge called the Maple Leaf Lounge.
Now that I love.
Now, do you think Brad from Canada is an Air Canada fan?
I think Brad from Canada probably feels the same way about Air Canada that I feel about what I guess is the number one airline on this list. And that's like, it's the one that I have to take most often because it's the one that's most widely available.
Fair. Speaking of accidents, pretty fun one here with Air Canada.
You always call them fun. They're not fun. No one that's ever...
I think they're fun.
Okay.
You don't have fun like learning about airplane accidents and airplane crashes?
Sure.
I fucking love this shit.
I guess.
Anyway, so Flight 680. Oh, do I have the year? I don't have the year this happened. I think this was like in the 80s or 90s or something like that. Had its entire tail cone separate, resulting in rapid decompression just 14 minutes into the flight. So the tail just fucking pops off and fucking air is rushing out of the plane.
Yeah.
A beverage cart and other items were blown out of the aircraft.
No. Oh, God. Imagine where those landed. On a bear somewhere.
No. That poor fucking bear. But there were no serious injuries. The aircraft safely was able to return to Boston where it took off from. It said fatigue cracks were said to be the cause of the plane. It was fixed up and put back into service. However, 4 years later, the same aircraft was destroyed by a fire that started in the bathroom and
after Dr. Buster had been in there.
It spread through the whole cabin, killing 23 of the 41 passengers, including listener of the show, Canadian folk singer Stan Rogers.
They got Stan?
Yeah, I know Brad is just, he's pouring one out for him. Yeah, this incident was featured as fiery landing on the television series Mayday. It is Air Canada's most recent fatal accident.
It actually is pretty, despite all the bitching I've done about airplane manufacturing, it is pretty impressive that with the amount of airplanes in the air at all times, I mean, thousands every day just in North America, it's kind of impressive that there's not more accidents, These planes hold up pretty well.
Yeah.
Better than cars.
I mean, I think it just goes to show to like the strong federal FAA regulations that there are to make sure that your planes are well maintained, you have appropriate staffing.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you're working for the FCC now?
FAA, you mean?
FAA, sorry.
Federal Airline Administration. Yeah.
FAA.
I just think they're doing a great job and we need more programs like that. More regulation.
More Reagan? Is that what you said?
All right, let's move on. I don't think you're going to get number 9. So number 9
the Mexican airline. Yeah.
Is the Mexican airline called Volaris. So it actually, by revenue, is the second largest airline in Mexico. Aeromexico barely beats it out, but Volaris has more passengers at 21.9 million passengers in 2019. Very small fleet, smallest on this list, only 102 airplanes.
Oh my God.
That makes it 14th on the list for fleet size, that is.
Hmm.
Volaris, another very recent airline founded in 2005.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, headquartered in Mexico City. Its cabins are a single-class, high-density layout with no complimentary meals or drinks on flights. Passengers can purchase these if they like, as well as pillows, blankets, etc. No flight entertainment, so it's another bare-bones option, similar to like a Spirit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, and I think Spirit has this too, they have the option to pay like a subscription price, similar to like MoviePass, where you like pay a monthly subscription and you can like fly. So
that's interesting,
cool, I guess.
That's interesting, actually.
I mean, you got to fly a shitty airline though, so it's just like, I don't know.
I guess I would just be curious on like the pricing and all that. Like, I don't know, someone young that wants to like travel the world, like maybe that's a good option for them.
Maybe. But you're not going to get to the world with any of these airlines. Like these are regional, like you're just going to Mexico and like southern US, basically, in Central America.
You always got to shit on my dreams, Alex, just like you used to shit in the street.
Your dreams suck. And I could not find any fun incidents to report on. Kind of a boring airline.
No fun deaths of innocent people to report on?
Nobody died.
What about someone shitting in the entire airplane like that gentleman?
No shitting in the plane. Not even after drinking the water.
You know, in your story, the guy that did that he shit all over the plane, it never came out in your story why his pants were off in the first place.
He took them off.
I know, but why? Like, why not just, I guess he wanted the shit to be free and not in his pants?
I get the intention that was an intentional shit on something.
Okay. Yeah, see, I got the impression that he was shitting belligerently. Like, he didn't even know he was shitting. He was, like, so upset.
No, I got the impression that it was intended.
Intentional shit? All right.
So you got two left.
All right, well, I know number 1 and 2, and number 2 is Delta Airlines.
2 is Delta.
Knew it.
204 million passengers.
That is a huge jump from number 3.
Big jump. Fleet of 1,170 planes. So get this. Began in 1925 as the world's first aerial crop dusting operation. Tell me, Nick, what do you know about crop dusting?
I don't know, but I got another sidekick host you should talk to. I think he knows a lot about crop dusting.
So they were a crop dusting operation based out of Macon, Georgia. Headquarters was quickly moved to Monroe, Louisiana.
Oh, got to move it quick over there to Monroe, Louisiana.
Followed by Atlanta, Georgia in 1945, where it remains today. It was named after the Mississippi Delta region.
Good.
It has also had some major acquisitions. It acquired Northeast Airlines in 1972, Western Airlines in 1987. At that point, it became the leading airline across the Atlantic.
See, why is all that allowed by the
Exactly.
federal...
It's just like, yeah, I don't know. Fucking companies eating up other companies. Anyway, I have here in all capitals, bankruptcy.
Yep.
In 2005, Delta filed for bankruptcy, citing rising fuel costs. It emerged from bankruptcy in 2007 after fending off a hostile takeover from U.S. Airways.
U.S. Airways? What the fuck happened to them? Who owns them now?
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they were down in the dumps. They had a hostile takeover happening, and somehow they fended it off, and they're still back here today, second biggest airline.
But I remember they struggled during the pandemic, too. They had a big bailout.
They did. Yeah, all of the airlines struggled during the pandemic, though.
Well, yeah. But Delta was one of the big ones.
Yeah. Delta has 9 hubs. Atlanta is the biggest and has the Sky Miles frequent flyer program. And the lounges are called the Delta Sky Club. They really like their sky.
Delta is my favorite airline that I've flown.
Well, you want to suck their dick a little more? Wow.
You really want to talk to me about sucking airlines' dicks on this show? This is the first airline dick I've sucked. And I'm not even sucking it that hard. I'm like kind of just kind of nibbling at it because all airlines suck. Even the best airline still sucks.
Oh, yeah.
But I like Delta because I've had the best luck with them on not having delays, not having cancellations. I've had the best luck on on-time departures. However, I rarely fly Delta anymore because they're rarely the cheapest ticket in my airport.
Yeah. Accidents. They've had 14 fatal accidents, all involving at least one death, worst of which was Flight 191, which the movie Fire and Rain was based off of.
Have not seen that.
Me neither. And I don't have any more details than that.
Now, one death per accident. How many brown bears have died from Delta Airlines?
Do not have that data, but there were 136 fatalities on that Flight 191.
Were they people or bears?
all people. So
Okay.
I know you don't care.
I mean, I care a little bit, but if it was 136 bears, I'd probably care more.
Right.
Well, okay.
So Delta. I don't think I've ever flown Delta.
What?
I'm trying to think. Yeah. Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah.
But Delta is you can get a Delta flight anywhere in the country.
You can get an American flight anywhere in the country.
Okay, but
that's the thing. I mean, like, I've never flown to Atlanta, right? Or like any of these
oh, you haven't? Okay.
hubs. And so, like, yeah, if I was going to fly to Atlanta, maybe I would consider it because it's direct. But like, I've never had a need to get a direct ticket to somewhere that only Delta has a direct flight to.
I got news for you. No one's ever needed a direct flight to Atlanta, but some of us have to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Atlanta listeners.
Yeah.
Well, then number one, are we ready for number one?
Oh, I'm fucking ready.
It's American Airlines, the airline I by far fly most often.
Same here. American Airlines is number one at 215.2 million passengers with a fleet size of 1,440. Biggest fleet.
Wow.
I want to say it's the biggest fleet in the world.
Uh-huh.
American Airlines. It was started in 1930 as a union of 82 smaller airlines. So these all 82 airlines is all fucking grouped up and formed this union, and it became American Airlines. Fucking weird. Fucking early 1900s business is wild.
82 airlines. It's just insane.
Yeah.
Well, it was a new industry. People were figuring it out, I guess.
Figuring shit out. Founded its headquarters in New York City, but moved them to Fort Worth, Texas in 1979, where it remains today.
Bad move.
Frequent flyer program is called AA Advantage, like AA American Airlines.
Which I really don't like that name, by the way. But
yeah, I don't like it either. The first ever modern rewards program, though. So like kind of the first frequent flyer program ever.
Mm-hmm.
And the lounges are called Admirals Clubs, which they're okay.
They're okay. I like the Sky Lounge as a name.
Yeah,
sounds cool.
Cool name. I still think the Maple Leaf Lounge is the best name
that's good
of
too.
any of the lounges.
Although if you're in Canada like Brad, you got to be looking around being like, we got other shit besides Maple Leafs. Why does everything have to be a Maple Leaf? But
fair.
Anyway.
That's fair. Fun fact about American, in 1973, it was the first major airline to employ a female pilot. Listener of the show, Bonnie Taberzi.
That's interesting because way back in the 30s, that first flight attendant, which I think might have been United, she was a pilot. They just didn't let her fly.
She was a trained pilot, but they wouldn't let her fly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the 70s when they actually hired a woman. Any airline hired a woman to fly.
Yeah.
Fucking sexism.
The 70s was not that long ago in human history. Like our parents were well alive in the 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of our listeners. So it's just, it's wild. And we're still not there. But anyway.
Right. So yeah, like I said, American has the largest commercial fleet of airlines in the world. The two deadliest airplane crashes in U.S. history are both from American Airlines. Flight 191 had 273 fatalities in 1979, and then Flight 587 had 265 fatalities in 2001.
9/11, right?
No. Fun fact about Flight 587, this happened 2 months after 9/11. And so it sparked a whole bunch of like, oh shit, are the terrorists back kind of thing before they realized it was just a malfunction, just bad timing. But one victim who survived the 9/11 attacks, having escaped the North Tower of the World Trade Center, died in this plane crash.
Oh my God. Can you fucking imagine? That is so unfair.
Right?
God works in mysterious ways, I guess. Part of his plan.
Oh, mysterious ways. But speaking of 9/11, so two American Airlines aircrafts were hijacked and destroyed in the 9/11 attacks. Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, and Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon.
Was it also an American flight that crashed in Pennsylvania?
No, I think that was United.
Okay. This is neither here nor there, but I have a full-time job, and we just hired somebody, and he's like, first or second job out of college, real young. It occurred to me, he mentioned it, like he was born after 9/11. It just was a real mindfuck for me to be like, wow, I really am getting old. That now there's people entering the workforce that weren't even alive during 9/11.
That is wild.
Anyway.
So that's American Airlines, my airline of choice. I was executive platinum on them last year. My status did reduce to Platinum Pro this year.
Oh, no.
So I did not redeem it.
Alex.
I don't get upgraded as much as I used to. I still it depends on where I'm going. If I'm going to Dallas, I never get upgraded because there's so many fucking people with status coming to and from Dallas. But anywhere else, I typically will get upgraded to first class, which is a nice perk.
And we're all just cheering and clapping you on, Alex. We're so excited for you getting those upgrades. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yep. So anyway, that was the top 10 airlines in North America.
Yeah, let's go back through them. Go back through them, and I'll tell you what I think.
Back through them. Number 10. Actually, you know what? Let's start down at 17. Number 17 was WestJet, a Canadian airline.
Okay.
Number 16, Sun County Airlines in the United States. Never fucking heard of them.
No.
Number 15, Hawaiian Airlines. I have seen Hawaiian, never flown them.
Yep, same.
14, Viva Aerobus, Mexico.
Nope. That's not a real thing.
13 was Allegiant Air, United States. 12 was Interjet from Mexico. 11 was Aeromexico from Mexico. Number 10, Frontier Airlines at 21.8 million passengers. Number 9, Volaris from Mexico at 21.9 million passengers. Number 8, Spirit Airlines, United States, with 34.5 million passengers. Number 7, JetBlue, 42.7 million. Number 6, Alaska Airlines, 46.7 million. Number 5, Air Canada, thank you, Brad, with 51.5 million.
Thank you, Brad. He has a lot to do with that.
Number 4, United Airlines, don't get punched out by the staff, with 162.4 million. Number 3, Southwest Airlines, Nick and I both hate them, at 162.6 million. Number 2, Delta Airlines, Nick's favorite, he fucking loves them.
God.
204 million. And number 1, American Airlines, my airline of choice, they're fine. 215.2 million passengers.
They're all just fine at best. I don't love Delta Airlines. I've just had the least amount of bad luck with Delta Airlines. That's all.
Yeah. The only reason I picked American is like my company's headquartered in Dallas, so I'd fly there a lot. So that's why I picked them.
Company corporate shill over here. First, you're sucking the dick of every single airline membership freaking Flyers Club on this list, and now you can't stop writing American Airlines until they're ground into nothing dust. So we're all kind of get the point, Alex.
How it goes.
Well, you got me excited to fly. Not really. Nothing will ever make me excited to fly. But this did make me just kind of, you touched on it when we first started the list with Southwest Airlines, how they're lobbying against the, what do you call it? The
high-speed rail.
High-speed rail travel. That's the future, but couldn't be a long time before it's here.
Right.
Okay. Alex, what now? What do we do now?
We go our separate ways and never talk to each other again.
Okay. Listeners, I'm going to be back next week. Dr. Buster will be my guest, and he's going to bring a list. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you wouldn't mind giving us a follow on your favorite social media platform of choice, you can check the show notes for links to all of our social. And I also hope you'll take 10 seconds to go rate us and leave a review on your favorite podcast app like Apple or Podchaser or Good Pods. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can rate us in literally a tap seconds. You don't even have to write a review. Rate us 5 stars, though. It helps new listeners find us and new brown bears that we can save from being landed on by airplanes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, he's Alex Johns. I'm Nick Emel. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Bye.
Here's a summer travel tip. Pack just one pair of shoes that goes with every outfit, like the versatile, perfectly packable Tree shoes from Allbirds. Find your pair of Tree Dashers 2, Runners, Pipers, and more at allbirds.com. That's ALLBIRDS.com.
This is a Glassbox Media Podcast.